Thanks for joining us, everyone. This is Forged from Iron. I'm Gatesy. Oh, and he's back today. Oh, look. There he is. Hello, Duke.
Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon. Yeah, that was a fun day yesterday, mate. It
That
was
was
a fun
interesting
day
yesterday,
yesterday.
wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, listen, I'm not going to go into any details because I'm not quite sure of our audience, shall we say? But yeah,
Yeah.
it's what it was, and these things happen, and sadly, like I say, I managed to get on for
Yeah.
for about 5 minutes just to have a conversation, but it wasn't ideal for me yesterday, but I'm glad, as I said to you last night, about doing this morning or this afternoon as it is now, just so we can I can kind of have a bit of a discussion on the game, if you will. So yeah.
Yeah, no worries. And we're very fortunate enough to be joined by West Ham Online. How are you, sir?
I'm doing very well. I'm looking forward to the game today. I don't know about you two, but I sense a win.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah, I'm confident. I am confident. I was discussing with Gatesy earlier, just through WhatsApp and stuff. That yeah, I'm feeling it. I really am feeling it. Obviously, I won't go into too much detail just sitting here now. But obviously, as we get further into the video, then we'll see more. We'll talk more about it. But no, I am incredibly confident for this one.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I wouldn't say I'm incredibly confident myself because I think a large part of it boils down to what the formation, what the personnel that Moyes is going to go with. If he goes out with what basically took to the field at Old Trafford last week, then my confidence is probably going to dip somewhat. If we take to the pitch with what I put on the live stream yesterday, which those of you that are watching this that watched it yesterday will know the team that I went with. Which, just to run through it for those of you that didn't, was Fabianski in goal, back four from left to right of Cresswell, Dawson, Diop, Soufal, the two sitting midfielders, Declan Rice the captain, Thomas Souček. And I went for an offensive midfield three of Ben Rama left, Fornals, hopefully if he's fit, in the number 10 position, Lingard on the right, and Antonio through the middle. That's what I would go with if I was in David Moyes' shoes. But obviously, the two lads can give their thoughts on what they think that both teams are going to go with today. So we'll get straight down to it, chaps. So I've got a little graphic here to share with everybody watching. Now, this is West Ham Online's belief on how we're going to line up. So just talk us through it, mate.
Yeah. As I say, I think this is how I think we'll line up. I'm not necessarily sure if it's how I want us to line up, but I think this is what Moyes will go with. I see him seeing Tierney and Pepe or Saka, whoever's on that side, because either are brilliant players, being a real threat to us. So I could see him sticking in Bowen more as a tracking back a lot as he did last time against Arsenal. I think Bowen's quite good defensively. I think he does well defensively, but I would like to say I wouldn't be surprised if Fredericks also plays that role, similarly to how he did against Aston Villa. Because once again, he's good defensively. He's got the pace for the counter-attack, which I think Moyes will look to exploit today. I think Moyes will see the counter-attack as our biggest threat because Tierney does go forward a lot. You'll see in Arsenal's games, he's mostly on the left wing rather than at left back when they're attacking. So I think Moyes will look at that space and want to exploit it in behind with Antonio going out to the wings and Fredericks or Bowen using their pace going forward. We all know he loves Fornals, so I expect Fornals to play. I think he deserves to play. I wouldn't necessarily want him playing on the left, but I believe he will once again for his defensive contribution. The fact he does a lot of tracking back. He's known to run a lot. His running stats are in the top 5 in our team. So I expect him to start in that department. Once again, with Ben Rama on the bench. I don't want Ben Rama on the bench because I believe his running stats for creative midfielders is the best in the league. So I see no reason for him not to start because defensively he's contributed since when he first came in. He wasn't, but he developed that part of his game, as David Moyes rightly said. But he's also got that bit of flair, which I think we'll need to unlock Arsenal. So I'd personally start him, but I think it'll be Fornals on the left. And then Lingard in the attacking midfield position because he loves a goal against Arsenal. You remember in 2018 he scored 2 against them at the Emirates in a 3-1 win with Lukaku scoring the other goal. And he's just, there's no way Lingard's not starting. He's a fantastic player. And I think he'll be the one that's not doing as much tracking back as the others. We've seen in games like Fulham and Aston Villa that he doesn't have as much defensive contribution as Fornals or a Benrahma or a Bowen, due to how good he is going forward and how good he is in the final third. So I think that's how we'll line up. I see a key threat to Arsenal, as I've said, being Jarrod Bowen or Ryan Fredericks. I think whoever starts there will have a really good game. But it will also be a very difficult game because I think a lot of the game will be played at whatever side Saka's on. Saka's had 1,273 touches in 24 games this season. I'll get into him a little bit more later in the show. But he has a lot of touches a game, basically. And a lot of Arsenal's game comes through Saka. So I think if he's on that side with Tierney, Fredericks or Bowen will have a really difficult job cut out for them. And I believe a lot of the game will be down to them.
Your thoughts on that, Duke? I know you've gone with a different team, which we'll come to in a minute, but your thoughts on West Ham Online's predicting?
Yeah, I mean, I can see why on both left and right as to why you go with Fornals and Bowen with the attempt of their defensive attitude, if you can. He's both of those will track back and do the dirty work, so it kind of makes sense to have them both there. Arsenal are, they're quite dangerous going forward. If you've got Smith Rowe in there, if you've got Saka, you've got Tierney. It's a lot of pace in that front line for Arsenal. When you consider, Lacazette, Aubameyang may or may not be on the bench, may or may not even start. We don't know currently, just due to his whatever the disciplinary problems are that were reported last week. Yeah. So I get why. Obviously, I've gone slightly different because I just think that leaves us very lacking in kind of attacking flair and link up play. So I've gone with a different approach. Kind of defensively, I understand, but attacking, I just think we need more, and I'll discuss that in a second when you put my team up on the screen.
No problem. So we come to West Ham Online's predicted Arsenal lineup for the ladies and gentlemen at home. So again, talk us through it, please, West Ham Online.
It's, as you'll see, like the team that played against Spurs. It's a very good team, has a lot of balance, and I can see why it worked at Tottenham. I spoke on Saka, and he's my key threat for Arsenal. If I could just read out a few of his stats now. He's got 5 goals and 2 assists, which on the face of it isn't actually that great. But when you watch Arsenal, how much he does is quite incredible. Very versatile player, has played left back, midfield, on the right, on the left, in the car probably. He's just very versatile, fantastic player, and he's good in all departments. 120 crosses this season, so it's an element which Arsenal like to use a lot. Crossing at the back, getting people in behind and things like that. And as I've said, he's had 1,273 touches, which is quite incredible in 24 games. I don't know what the average amount of touches that is a game, but as I say, he has a lot of the ball, and a lot of Arsenal's play comes through Saka driving forward. In recent weeks, he's been fouled a lot more. You'll notice teams doing the tactic where the left back will foul him, then it will be the centre mid, then it will be the right mid, all getting yellow cards. Aston Villa is an example. He was fouled so many times in that game. I think it was 8 or 9 times in that match. So Saka is definitely a key threat and a player who I think Moyes will look to bring down a lot. Agree with that tactic or not, I think that's what will happen. And as I say, he's done his defensive contribution as well with 21 interceptions and 21 tackles. In comparison, a player who's also been one of the better young players in England this year, Phil Foden, has 10 interceptions and 18 tackles. Yes, Saka is playing in a worse team, so he's likely to get a lot more defensive contribution, defensive numbers. But he's also Arsenal's key point going forward. So he's great in both departments, and he's a player who has a lot of energy. And he uses his energy well, as I say, defensively and offensively. He's fantastic. His running numbers are one of the best in the Arsenal team. So in every department, he's contributing. And I think if you keep Saka quiet, you keep a lot of Arsenal's threat quiet in terms of going forward. And as I've said, defensively, he's fantastic as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So before we move on to Duke's 2-11s, so for you, where do you think the game's won and lost for each team?
I think it's on Arsenal's left-hand side that the game's won and lost. As I say, on that graphic, I've got Smith Rowe there, but in the Arsenal game, him and Saka were interchanging quite a lot, similarly to how we do with Ben Rama, Lingard and Fornals. So I think the game's won and lost on that side because I think Duke will come to it in a little minute, but Tierney's a fantastic player as well, probably their player of the season. One of the better left-backs in the league. Offensively, as I've said, he's fantastic. On the left wing a lot, and his crossing is brilliant as well.
Yeah. Okay, so we've got a few comments that the live chat's popped in with. Oh, look who's jumped in. James Fever's gone a 2-2 prediction, and he's gone on to say that he fears for Diop today. What do we think about that, boys?
I'll take it. I did comment back. I think in the chat. I think he could be key for us defensively today. We know that out of the two centre backs, he's the one. He's the one with the pace. He's and he is quick. Let's not mess around. But he does like to step out of defence as we were we discussed the other evening, Rob. So I think he's going to be key for that. The running in behind of either Aubameyang or Lacazette, dependent on obviously who they choose to start. So he's going to be the one that's going to be kind of tasked with watching that movement from their pacey players, because he really, if you look at it, he's the only one with a natural burst of pace that's going to be able to keep up with those players. So Dawson's, like I say, he's your old school centre back, so he's going to be the one that's going to, stick his body in the way, do the dirty tackles. Whereas, maybe even Rice, they'll be kind of tasked with Rice and Diop to try and get a grip of the speedier players and try and keep them under control and stop them from running.
Your thoughts, West Ham Online?
Yeah, I think the man who we put up front in the Arsenal team, Lacazette, his biggest quality is his physical game, and his hold-up play. I think, as Arsenal fans said in the week, his overall game is much better than Aubameyang's. In the final third, yes, he's nowhere near, but it will be really difficult for Diop to mark Lacazette out of the game because his general play is fantastic. He wins a lot of fouls as well from backing into defenders, and I think Diop at times can be quite clumsy. So I think it will be a difficult game for Diop, and it's one that he needs to. I think they would have been working on a tactical approach in a week with Antonio on Diop, because I think that their general play in the way that Antonio backs into players, likes to spin off defenders with his pace, is similar to what Lacazette does. And as I say, he can't step forward too much in this game. He needs to hold his position because Saka and Smith Rowe are very good in behind. And with Odegaard in the team now, who I'll come to a little bit later in the show, but Arsenal fans have been saying since he's arrived, he's been their best player creatively. So he'll be able to pick a pass to Saka or a Smith Rowe or a Lacazette. So we just need to hold our line. And as James says rightly in the chat, it is going to be a difficult game for Diop, but I think he should be able to step up to the task.
Yeah, fair enough. We've got a comment here from Steve. How you doing, Steve? Hope you're well. 45 years of supporting the Hammers have made me a pessimist. That way can't be disappointed. I think Duke and I can relate to this one.
Yeah. It's yeah. I try to be. I do try to be glass half full more than anything else anymore. And this season's certainly given us reason to be certainly a glass half full kind of season. So I kind of I'm going into today, and I am feeling confident. You know, I was confident last week against United. It's frustrating because I'm not going to go back and I don't want to talk about the lineup and everything else and setup from last week. That's done and dusted. We can't change that. But it's frustrating because where I am glass half full now, we're going into these games against the so-called bigger clubs, and I'm kind of like, yeah, we're coming away with something here, So yeah, listen, let's stay confident. We've got to.
Yeah. And just before we move on to your teams, Duke, I'm just going to bring in Andy Miles's comment. Milesy, how you doing? And he elaborated on this in the stream yesterday. Oh, no, you wasn't there, Duke, but we'll move on from that. He's put 3-2 West Ham. Odegaard to score first. Mikel Antonio to get the equaliser. Aubameyang makes it 2-1. Rice penalty, and then Lingard late winner. Boom. I'd take that all day long and twice on a Sunday, Milesy. So that's all good.
Well, as I've commented to Milesy underneath that, Gatesy, you've probably seen it. If that happens, I'm coming at Andy next week for the lottery numbers. If that's how it happens, I'm going after Andy for the lottery numbers. Right, just quickly, Mr. Gates.
It's very specific, isn't it?
It is. It is. You know what I'm about to ask, because you can see the chat as well, my friend.
Yeah.
Jake's kind of stitched you up. So, before we head into mine, do you care to explain?
I don't.
Do you care to tell me?
Is this? Hang on a minute. Let me just. Oh, the singing. Yeah. I just had.
What was your request?
Well, no, I just thought, because obviously those that don't know what this is all about, we were trying to get to 100 subscribers by the end of the month. And
let me look at you while you're doing this.
The challenge was the forfeit. Duke was going to sing.
Right.
Now he's going to sing "Sex Bomb" by Tom Jones. We've agreed that. But we haven't actually pinned down a date on when you're going to do it, have we?
Well, my concern, sir, I'll finish staring at you now. My concern is that we may well get stitched up a bit for copyright, so we've got to try and find a way around the whole copyright of having that. So I listen, I am game. I've said I will do this. As someone's already commented, Jake's commented in the chat a minute ago, #road to 200. So we need to do something when we hit another 40 odd subscribers, 42. So talk to me. What was your way?
I personally, now here's my idea, and it is just an idea.
I'm not doing it in a Borat Mankini. Okay, let's clear that up straight away. That's not.
No, but I was thinking doing it the last game of the season. Okay. Okay so far?
Go on.
In your pub.
I'll get karaoke in. All right, done.
There you go. Job done.
All right. It's easy enough.
Well, it's not a bad idea,
right.
Is it?
No, listen. I've had a lot worse, yeah. West Ham Online, that. I needed to clear up that that thing with him, because I know it can be a stitch-up master, so I just wanted to clear that up.
Hey.
And Jake, you're no better. You are no better, Jake, out there in the world of West Ham. You are no better at trying to stir the situation up there, right? So yeah, okay, come on, let's crack on. enough of that.
Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, so now I'm going to put up the graphic with Duke's West Ham team. So again, big fella, talk us through it.
Right, Fever, you'll be happy here, son. I've seen your comments. #free Ben Rama. I've done exactly that. I'll turn up with a
Free the Brentford one.
Free the Brentford one. What do you mean rubbish, Somerset? I'm not talking to him anymore. I'm not going on his show anymore. I'm not doing it.
I'm surprised you've arrested Suchek here.
I never. No, right, here we go then. So I never
I
rested
did ask you
Souček.
to check this graphic before I put it out, didn't I?
Yeah, and I really didn't pay much attention. So it's my fault as well.
Oh.
Right. Scrap Fornals, and we've got Souček in there. So I haven't rested
Pretend
Fornals.
that
It's
doesn't
just
say 4 nails, guys.
that's Gatesy stitching me up again. So
No, I
Fornals
asked you to
is
proofread it.
Souček.
Don't
Listen,
blame me.
I don't pay any attention to you. You know this. I don't do what you ask me to do. We've proved that in just the two of us. All right. So
Yeah.
so
Yeah, fair point.
my team there. Again, now the reason that I've gone with Ben Rama, and I completely agree with everything that West Ham Online has already said, with regards to the defensive capabilities of the team that he put out with Fornals instead of Ben Rama. Now, again, I agree that if Fredericks is in line with a shot, then he replaces Bowen in the same way that we used Tufal to negate Grealish over there. James. I have put Souček in there. Just I know you've just commented there. Swap Fornals for Souček, and that's a great team. Fornals wasn't meant to be there. That was a mistake by me and Gatesy. So that's where he's meant to be. With regards to Ben Rama out there on the left, I just see Cedric and Luiz out of the Arsenal 11 being their weakness, and we saw that. I saw it against Burnley a few weeks ago. You know, it was them and Xhaka put Xhaka under pressure when he's on the ball. I can just see Ben Rama giving those two an absolute headache out there on the left. I can see him beating a man, linking up with Lingard. I can see that being everything. Hey, he's done it. I can see that being everything that we create. I think today will come from that area of the pitch. Ben Rama, Lingard, and Antonio all linking up, all looking solid. Hashtag free Ben Rama. So Andy, mate, don't drop the phone, right? For those of you who can see it in the chat, Andy, don't drop the phone, certainly don't come on StreamYard with your camera on. That's all we're asking. All right?
Definitely.
We don't want to be seeing that.
But yeah, at the very least, make sure that rubber duck strategically placed.
Oh, you got bubbles. No, my team there, Bowen will do a lot of tracking, will help Tufal there, I think. If it's not him and it is Fredericks, I'll be a little bit more confident with them being able to contain that side of the pitch. You know, the other side of the pitch, Saka is a danger, and Rice will be needed in that sense to help Cresswell out there on the left if Saka does play on the right, because he's quick, he's nippy, and he will give Cresswell a bit of a run around. Don't get me wrong, Cresswell does have that, you know, he's got the experience. He knows how to play the game. He's not going to be diving in when he shouldn't be. So, but Rice will help him out, and that just leaves Ben Rama, Lingard, and Antonio to do a job up there. So yeah, listen. If I see that team walk out today, if we see that team go out as the lineup in a few hours' time, I'm going to be absolutely buzzing. Come kick off, because I think that right there is our best opportunity of taking 3 points away today. It really is.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough.
But
Anything
do you actually
come back online?
Do you honestly think that Ben Rama will play? Do you think Moyes will pick him?
Yeah, I really, really do. I think when Moyes looks at the team last week that he put out against United, and then when he brought on Ben Rama, was it Ben Rama and Lanzini he bought on? It was, wasn't it? Yeah. We looked. I won't say we looked at a bigger threat going forward, because that wasn't the case. We were never a threat going forward, but we looked more comfortable. And to be honest, I would have liked to have seen Ben Rama from the start last week, because I just think he would have caused, given a chance going forward, we would have caused that back four, you know, Lindelof and those and Maguire there. A bit more of a trickier time with Ben Rama, who likes to run with the ball. And let's be honest, Shaw isn't great in the tackle. Wan-Bissaka does like to make a lot of mistakes. So that's what I would have liked to have seen. And I think the same can be said for Luis and with Cedric Suarez, whatever he's, I don't care. I can see them, with Ben Rama. Listen, Luis has probably got 4 or 5 mistakes in him a game. Jack has got 2 or 3. Cedric, listen, I don't even know why the guy's there. For me, it should be Bellerin. Bellerin is significantly better. So I just think that going forward, Ben Rama, Lingard offer us our biggest chance and the biggest threat against those 3 players there: Xhaka, Cedric, and Luis. There, I can see us. That's where we're going to get most of our. We're going to cause most problems, shall we say? And we're going to get our best bit out of the game.
Before we move on, gentlemen, I'd just like to sort of pick Jake up on this. I thought it was half decent, actually.
You know what? I don't think it was too bad. I like watching a bit of Jethro, and he's quite good. So I kind of get that from him, or I quite like it. I'm not going to lie.
All our Sunset viewers have now dropped off.
Yeah.
Both of them.
Well, listen, when you go coast to coast in this country, it's kind of weird because you go, all right, hello, all right. That's kind of as you walk across the country from left to right. It's literally, all right, hello, all right. That's how it works.
Fair enough. Moving swiftly along.
So
that's the Arsenal team that you believe that's going to be put out, which is basically the same team that West Ham Online went with. So again, give us your thoughts on that one, big fella.
I mean, listen, against Spurs, I've got to say, I watched the entire game, and despite the fact that Spurs went 1-0 up, I don't even think at any point they were really in the game against this Arsenal team. This Arsenal team, they looked, I've got to say, I watched Arsenal against Burnley, and I've got to say, I understand where a lot of the, Jake, don't go sending this out to people. I can see where they get frustrated with players like Xhaka and Luis and Suarez. This Arsenal side, for whatever reason, like to try and play it out of the back or play it across their back line. And to be fair, other than Tierney in that kind of back 5, and I might be doing Gabriel a bit of a disrespect here, but they've got no ball players as such. And when you watch them, they look cumbersome. They look lazy trying to play. I know it sounds bad. They look lazy trying to play the ball out from the back. They kind of try to take the easy option. You look at the goal that Burnley did score. That was awful from Xhaka. What is he thinking? Like what goes through the guy's brain when he goes to do that? So for me, that's where we can get at them, is with Lingard and with Antonio and with Ben Rama, that high press from those 3 players. Get those under pressure from kickoff. Get them under pressure, pushing them back. That's where we're going to get. That's where we're going to get our victories. But then looking at the Arsenal side going forward, and you look at that front 4, and if you chuck Partey in to make it a 5, they're all ballers, to be fair. And then Tierney joining up and coming up from the side. I mean, I'm not stats man, obviously, like West Ham Online was with his Saka education that he gave us all there, and Gatesy with his lovely stats he likes to come up with. But for me, you've got 2 young lads there in Smith Rowe and Saka that are Arsenal. They are Arsenal. They don't want to see Arsenal performing as they're performing right now. It's no different to having us boys turn up in a West Ham shirt, So, and then the signing of Odegaard has been possibly for me one of the biggest signings that Arsenal have made. Just because I think he's fantastic. I mean, he was meant to be the next big thing, wasn't he? When he joined Madrid, he was meant to be that big name. And to be fair, once he went to Real Madrid at 15, I don't think there's none of us that play Football Manager that didn't try to get him on their game, because hang on a minute, he's going to be something special. I certainly did. He's. I mean, how old is he now? West Ham Online. Is he
I think he's still. I think he's still only 22.
Oh, is it? I thought it was. Yeah, I thought
Odegaard.
21. Yeah, Odegaard. I thought it was
21,
about
22. Yeah.
Yeah. See, so he's still young, but he's got a bit like Rice. He's still young, but he's got such a good footballing brain, such a good head on his shoulders. And the part you look at Rice when he picks a 40, 50-yard pass, it's literally on the money. And Odegaard is basically has the same sort of confidence, the same sort of distribution level. So listen. Their front five, if you like to say, if you throw Partey into the mix with their front five, I think that is that's a cracking attacking setup that they've got. Defensively, I think they're all over the place sometimes. So I think if we can get at them, like I say, the high press from kickoff, really put the likes of Xhaka, Luis, Suarez and Gabriel under pressure. Don't give them a chance to play out. Let's make them hit it long. Let's make them hit it long so we win that first ball and then retain the second and we go again. That's like I say, that's our game plan. It's got to be. That's where I'm at.
Duke, I agree with most of what you... Do you want to go first, Gatesy? I don't mind.
No. You crack on, mate.
Yeah. I agree with most of what you just said, but Gatesy, if you could quickly just fact check this for me. I believe they're actually one of the better teams in the league when it comes to the amount of goals they've conceded. They've really actually not conceded that much for a team in their position. I think what it is with Arsenal is, you said about Cedric and Bellerin.
29 in answer to your question. 29 in 28 matches.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
That is a good stat. Yeah.
And I think what it is, as you said, with what happened at Burnley, they've had a lot of lapses in concentration and maybe a lack of leadership, because I don't think Aubameyang is a leader, certainly.
No,
if
not
I could just pinpoint a few narrow defeats in which I think was more down to their mistakes rather than quality of the other team. First of all, as you said, the 1-1 draw with Burnley, when Xhaka literally booted it at Chris Wood. I mean, that was just terrible. That was just a mistake in itself.
Under 13's defending, wasn't it?
Yeah. And then the other game against Burnley, Xhaka got a red card, and Aubameyang scored an own goal. So that's two mistakes in one there. You've got the game at Wolves in my opinion, which was referee incompetence. That David Luiz tackle in the penalty box was never a red card, never a penalty for me. I think it was a dive. And then Leno thought he was Michael Jordan in the second half. I don't know what he was doing, but they got 2 red cards in that game. And Aston Villa as well, they lost 1-0 and Cedric lost the ball in the first couple of minutes and they scored a deflected goal. So for me, it's been a narrow defeats. I don't think they've been smacked at all season, apart from in the Carabao Cup. But
that could be us.
Yeah, we've got to press them high, don't we?
Yeah.
They've got lapses in concentration. I don't actually think it's that they're bad on the ball, because I think David Luiz is actually quite a comfortable defender in possession. I think his passing range is fantastic.
But I think he's a massive liability. I think Chelsea did the right thing in
but I don't think it's down to his ability. I think he just has lapses in concentration. I think he's just erratic like Diop.
Yeah.
Oh, easy. Don't peddle him in with Diop. That's unfair on Issa. That's not fair.
Before we come to your key personnel in each team, I'm just going to refer to the live chat, guys. If you get in the comments your predicted starting lineups for both teams, formation, personnel, and also who you think is a key player in each of the teams and the reasons why. Get yourselves busy, guys. Let us know. But we'll go to West Ham Online first. So if you can pick out one key player from each team and the reasons behind why you think they are key to their team's chances today.
I think a player I want to highlight who I've not spoken on yet for West Ham is Vladimir Sofal, because I think overall against the league's top winners this season, he's done fantastically, apart from Rashford in the 3-1. And with Tierney and either Saka or Pepe or Smith Rowe running at him today, he's got a job cut out for him. And he's going to have to defend well today if we're going to get any chance of a result. So I think he's got to be on form today. And as I say, that brings me on to my Arsenal key threat, which is either Saka or if he plays Pepe, because I actually think when Pepe's played against us, he's been brilliant. I think overall he's been a flop of a signing. I wouldn't have paid 4 Freddos for him, but he's been fantastic. When he's
That's
played
quite a lot of
against
money
us.
these days.
Yeah, yeah. But as I say, I don't know if you remember when they beat us 3-1 last season. He scored a great goal as well. So we've got to look out for whoever's running at Sofal because it's going to be a battle.
Yeah, no, that's entirely fair. Duke, you've got your key men for each team and the reasons behind it, mate.
Right. Well, you could pick any player really in that West Ham side to be our key player. You know, like West Ham Online just said there. You know, defensively, we've got to be on the ball. They've got the quality, they've got the pace to get in behind us. And if the back four aren't, or the back six, if you include Suchek and Rice in there, they've got to be on the ball. They've got to be switched on. We can't have, you know, a Diop slip up, and then that's what's cost us the game. But for me, my key player in the whole thing is Benrahma. I think we need to unleash him, and we just need to let him go and play. You know, we saw in that first game with Lingard, the link-up play was outstanding. You know, the between the three of them, Lingard, Antonio, and Benrahma, when they've played together, and it hasn't been often, let's be fair, they've looked amazing. They've looked absolutely, for me, they've looked outstanding going forward. The link play, hashtag free Benrahma. The link play between Benrahma and Lingard, it's like they've been playing together for years. They literally, those quick passes in short, small triangles, small, compact spaces on the pitch, and they still seem to come away with the ball. Again, Benrahma beating one or two people, if he's got Antonio and Lingard either in front of him or within 10 yards to, he's right on the inside, a quick 1-2 after beating one or two men, 1-2 with Lingard, and he's free again and gone, because Lingard has that in his brain that's what he wants to do. And if we can keep doing that throughout the game, and just swift 1-2s, bosh, 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 Antonio's in behind. Listen, as West Ham Online mentioned earlier, they make mistakes, and they're when they do make mistakes, they tend to be high profile mistakes. They haven't been spanked this season. They haven't been beaten badly. But that's because, for me, a lot of the teams don't press. We can see it. Let's be honest. We watch these games week in, week out, and we can see the mistakes that are made. We can see the lapses in concentration. We all watch Match of the Day. We all watch. Let's be fair. How many of us actually watch near enough every single live game every weekend? Because at the moment there's not much else to do. I can certainly say I have. And if we keep keep pushing them forward, keep getting up there, getting in their faces, making them back four go long, the likes of Suchek, Rice, Dawson and Diop, winning the ball in the air, winning that second ball when it lands, and then getting up the pitch quickly again. That's where our strengths are. That's where we're going to win the game, is from the front. But Benrahma for me is key. If we can get the ball to him, let him beat Cedric, let him go at Luis, let him go at Xhaka, into play with the other two. Listen, I'm buzzing. If he starts today, I am buzzing for this game. On the flip side, for me, Odegaard and Saka are going to be the ones going forward. Like I say, the passing range of Odegaard, I think is absolutely amazing. Like Rice, for someone so young to have such a good footballing brain, it just absolutely, when you see youngsters like this, it absolutely blows me away that the quality that sits within them. Who was it that said you never win anything with kids? Who was the manager that came out with that?
No, it was Alan Hansen.
It was a Hansen. Hansen said you never win anything with kids. And then you see the Man U side come through like they did. For me, Odegaard and Rice fit into that category. They're still kids as such, because they're still so young in their careers. Listen, I can see James in the chat constantly. He's banging on about Thomas Partey. stop Thomas Partey, you stop this side. He kind of does. It's right in what he says. He kind of goes into cover. He goes into cover Tierney a lot when Tierney does bomb on, a bit like what Rice does for us when Cresswell goes forward. So if we can get at it and kind of make Tierney not bomb on by keep that high press going, I think Tierney will not want to go forward if the other three are struggling with Benrahma, Antonio, and Bowen. I don't think Tierney will be getting forward as much as what he would like to if we can keep the pressure on their defence. So listen, as I said, I'm buzzing for this game, absolutely buzzing. If we can get Benrahma on that pitch, let him go, let him play, let him interchange with Lingard.
Yeah, that was me, Steve.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, but you can believe that. You can believe that. You can believe Rice would have walked into that changing room and gone absolutely batshit. Why? Because he cares. Why? Because he wants to win. He wants to go out. Listen, he knows that we've got a chance this season, and it's a massive chance. Let's be fair, of any kind of European football, but we've also got a chance of Champions League. So he's going to have gone
chance again.
No, you know what? Unless there's a big influx of money, Chelsea.
That's not going to happen for at least the next 2 years, is it, Duke? Let's be honest. They're not going to sell up before, was it 2023?
Well,
when this deal on the London Stadium expires. Blah blah blah. I completely agree.
Yeah,
so they're not going anywhere until then.
No, but
unless
from
they're
what I
offered
heard,
a
based
ridiculous
around
amount
that,
of money.
Well, see, this is the key, right? This is the key. From what I heard and everything else was that the percentage from last year to the end of this season, once this season concludes, the percentage that they had to pay back to the government and the council and everything else, I believe was at about 25% of any profit that they made.
Yeah.
I've watched the video, and I think it was Hammer's chat might have done the video. Don't hold me to that. I might be wrong. But from what I gather, I think that 20 or 25% actually drops to only 5% at the end of this season.
Yeah.
So if it drops to 5% at the end of this season, you can see why they wouldn't want to sell last year at 25%, because that's a big chunk of change in the grand scheme of things. 5% isn't going to be a huge chunk of change when you consider the amount of grief that they get on a daily basis from the GSB out fan, us lot. Let's be fair, all of us. Let's not dick around. Listen, they've got last season they had a reason not to sell, because 25% is a big chunk of change. 25% of 25% of £100 is a lot of money in the grand scheme of things, right? 25% of £1 million is going to be a lot of money. You're not going to want to lose that. But 5% isn't a huge chunk of change. So, listen, they may sell up at the end of this season. They may. I'm not going to say they will. I'd like to think that they will actually do the right thing. But listen, we'll wait and see. I don't want to give them coverage. I know it's bad. I'm sorry. What's this?
Kent's made a point.
Yes.
I'm not worried about Arsenal. We can only worry about ourselves. We're not playing versus Henry, poor Arsenal team. We must have a go and impose ourselves on the game and make it as 100% agree, because that's what we didn't do last week, and look what happened.
Gatesy, if I can just quickly comment on that. I think Arsenal since the turn of the year have been not fantastic, sorry. They've improved a lot. In their last 14 games in the league, they've won 8, lost 3, drawn 3. That's not bad. That really isn't bad.
No.
In the first half of the season, they were terrible. And I think we're playing an Arsenal team now that has developed a lot since then. So we shouldn't underestimate them. They're not a prime Arsenal team, but we shouldn't underestimate them. And I think, as Duke said, Benrahma is going to be crucial in this game. And the extent you were going into describe that, Duke, I thought you might have needed 5 or 10 minutes to yourself, because it was brilliant the way you were describing Lingard and Benrahma's link up.
Listen, you can't see below here, mates. That's all right. You can't see below this bit. Listen, I'm no AFTV because I know one of them got caught out doing that not so long ago. You can ask. Listen, you can ask him about that because apparently he was under his duvet. Well, if anyone in the chat was aware or knows about that, Gatesy, did you know about that? Did you hear about that? They were doing a live show, and he might have been under the duvet. Listen, we've got a youngster on the chat. I don't want to go into too much detail.
Be careful.
But let's just say I think he was camping because it was intense.
Oh, people have come here for football chat, not this.
Hey, I did listen. Him in the middle with a logo started this crap, not me, right? I was the innocent party. Make a change, but that's not the point.
You're not innocent. Fever's popped up. Arsenal need to be bullied. Yeah.
Could you do me a favour, Gatesy? Could you answer Fever? Because he's badgering you in the chat. Will you answer him?
He is. We're not having anyone on, James.
Right, there you go.
Like I say, we're just interacting with a live chat. So just sort of put you. As I say, if anyone wants to put their teams, their key players, as I said earlier, knock yourselves out. Let us know your thoughts. Steve's popped up. He says he's GSB out, but I don't like the abuse David Gold gets on Twitter. He's in his 80s, and I get the impression he really loves the club. Yeah, I think out of the two of them, he is the dyed-in-the-wall West Ham fan. He's very much, in my opinion, the junior partner. Well, it's just not an opinion; it's a fact because David Sullivan's the majority shareholder. So I do think that sometimes he's carried along, by association with a lot of the nonsense that David Sullivan comes out with and this, that, and the other. So it's guilt by association. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you're right. I mean, he's 85, I think it is. And I'm led to believe he's not exactly in fantastic health, as, it's fairly obvious a man in his mid 80s is not exactly going to be running marathons or anything like that.
To be fair, get him off bloody Twitter to stop without being horrible or rude. He makes a lot of mistakes on Twitter. He kind of, I won't say he embarrasses himself. You see some of the stuff that he does put in there. But who was it? Welcome. He put the wrong player up, and it was a little bit embarrassing. But it's some of the silly things. I'm not sure if someone. I'm not sure if he's got someone running his account or whether in between, and then he'll kind of jump on and he'll make that balls up like he does. But just get him off of Twitter without. Yeah. Like I do agree, and James has just put a comment in there. He doesn't. He deserves it as well, though. If you support the club, you should know how we feel as fans. I just think this with regards to David Gold. If I'm honest, if I bumped into him in the street, I'm not going to call him any of the names that people call him on. And I don't think half the people would. If you bumped into him in the street, you got someone on Twitter calling him the big C word. Got Jake in the chat. I'm not saying it. I wouldn't say it live anyway.
Yep.
But you're not going to walk into him in the street and call him that, are you? Do you know what I mean? You wouldn't do that. He's an 80-year-old man. You're not going to do that. Listen, if I bumped into Sullivan, I'd smack him on the end of the nose and call him one, to be perfectly honest with you, because I honestly cannot stand the guy. And the boys, I'd bury them.
Sit on the fence, Duke.
I'm not. Listen. At the end of the day, they've ruined my club. Listen, Gold is culpable as well for what's happened because he's been part of it. But for me, I'd say he probably gets about 15% of the blame for what's gone on. Karen Brady probably gets. Well, in fact, no. Gold probably gets 5%. Karen Brady's going to get probably about 20%, and the other 75% lies at the door of David Sullivan. And I listen. I don't care. I don't care what kind of comeback comes from this or whatever, or anything else. The geezer is a money-grabbing dwarf who sold us up the river for pennies, sold our history of that amazing ground that we once had. We couldn't build. Go away. Of course we could. Because the year after we agreed to leave Upton Park, the bus garage round the back was sold or was shut down and could have been used. They used it to help build the flats that are there now. So don't tell me we couldn't have done something with it. At one point, we rebuilt a school so we could rebuild a stand. So don't tell me nothing could be done.
Well, all the plans were in place before we got relegated under Roda, wasn't it? If you remember correctly.
Listen, at the end of the day,
there it was approved and we got relegated, and it was never revisited for whatever reason.
Listen, Fo, my maths ain't great. If I got it wrong, I got it wrong. But I do believe 25% and 75% makes 100%. I might be wrong, Fo. I might be wrong. No, James, listen, everyone's entitled to his opinion, and I see where you're coming from, mate. I do. But like Gatesy said, I do believe he's kind of at a point within the club now that he does just get dragged along with the current as to what's going on. I don't think he has that big a say in it. Yet I agree with you. He's still to blame for the things that have happened. I'm not disagreeing with you. He is a part of the problem. And until that problem is treated with a certain ointment, be that a bomb underneath a car, maybe. And I'm not advertising violence. I'm not. But, if a sniper decides to take one of them. And listen, I'm not advertising violence. But if someone wants to drop, some arsenic into one of his... I'm not advertising violence.
Hypothetically.
Right? But listen, at the end of the day, it is what it is. They're there. They've ruined the club. And, like I say, I think he's been dragged along with the current of a lot of it. I do believe, I'd say 90% is to blame with what goes on within the club. Like Jake says, someone runs his Twitter. It wouldn't surprise me if it's one of the Sullivan boys. It wouldn't surprise me if it's one of the Sullivan boys. But anyway, listen, I'm going to stop because I'm...
He's getting a bit worked up, people. You might have known.
I'm going to peel his face off and turn into the Predator, and I'll like that. I can see it happening. Let's let me calm down a minute.
Duke, I completely agree with everything you said, but I think we really are reaching a stage, which is the part which annoys me about our fan base. I think we're reaching a stage in terms of Twitter and on social media where people are just looking to blame them for absolutely everything now. Like I completely agree, they're a disgrace. Sullivan especially, as you said, hopefully he's in the next war. But regarding that, we're reaching a stage where people are blaming them for everything. Like we saw yesterday that they were getting blamed for not buying one of the signs for 8,000. Nobody who was saying that could care less about that.
Literally down the road from us, isn't it, Duke?
It is. It's in a lockup, literally 5 minutes away from my pub.
Yeah, I don't like. That was just ridiculous. Like they didn't need to buy that sign. It's just pointless things like that just start to make everyone look like a bit of a mockery. When we're starting blaming them for not buying signs, I mean, like get out.
Yeah, listen, you can't listen. That for me, right? That anything that was attached to that ground, and Gatesy and I have discussed this when we found out about the big metal. The badge. Anything that was attached to that ground, i.e., they took the Lyle gates, right? For me, they took the Lyle gates, which was the right thing to do. I think they should have done more than just dump them in the club shop.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
But that is what it is. But anything attached to that stadium, so I'm not sure where it is. But let's be honest. You remember where at the Upton Park when you used to go through the club shop and into the museum? You had that plaque on the wall, didn't you? The West Ham. It was like off the front of a steam train, wasn't it? Had the big ball in the middle. Right. What happened to that? Because that's not the museum and nothing. Yeah, right. Nothing's been mentioned about this. Add to that then all of the logos that were plastered to the tower, the badges that were plastered to the turrets, they were taken down and kept.
Mm-hmm.
But the one that was on the side of the Bobby Moore stand, which is the one we're talking about, literally, the builder went, I'm having that. Thanks very much. I'll see you later on. Because all it was going to do was end up in a bin. So you can't blame him for taking it. Because I'm telling you now, if that was me, I'm having that. Right? Yeah. And I ain't selling it. So what tells me right now is that the builder, the guy that took that, in my opinion, can't be a West Ham fan because there's no way in the world I'll be selling it. There's no way in the world I'll be selling it. If anything, I'll be contacting the club and going, I've got this, have it. I would have given it back. Like, yeah, that's me. Or like me and Gatesy said, I would have put it in the floor in my driveway or something and epoxy resined over the top of it, so it's like embedded in me grass or anything like that. But you can't blame them for not buying that. For crying out loud, like seriously, that's not a GSB problem.
That's the least of our worries. Is basically, James, I completely agree with everything you're saying.
Yeah.
But like we're in a top 4 battle. We've moaned at them enough, and we need to keep protesting and we need to keep complaining about them. But when we start complaining about signs not being bought, it's just a complete waste of time.
Yeah, Steve makes a good point. Very difficult, but the bowling is gone. It's time to move on. I missed the bowling, but I've got to the point where I've had to let it go. And that's the thing. I mean, when I left that last game,
I've not been back
against Manchester United. Well, I made myself something of a promise that I would not go back because it would be just too difficult. About a year ago, however, I normally work around Southeast London, as you know. However, on this particular day, I got shunted over to work the East End. Where do you think one of the calls was? You get it.
I would have refused it.
Well, yeah. I didn't realise until I got there, and then it was like, oh, Christ. And honestly, you sort of go down where Ercan's, the chip shop is. Was it Priory Road, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you go down there and you got all these flats. Now, if it was anywhere else, these flats looked very nice. If you plonked them anywhere but there, I could look at those flats and go, that's a nice little setup. That's lovely.
Yeah, ain't the
but
same,
it's where
mate,
it
is
was.
Yeah.
But it's where it was, and it broke my heart to see that. Just, that's where I went as a season ticket holder and all the rest of it.
Church.
I tell you something.
Going home was how it felt every time I went up there. Was going home.
My 2 boys, one of whom you obviously know very well, Duke, George,
sadly,
the ginger one. Anyway, I move on. They actually went to their first West Ham game before they were even born. Right? They were there. In Paolo Di Canio's last game at Upton Park when we beat Chelsea 1-0, the season we got relegated. And I always remember it because my seat back then was about the first 3, within the first 3, 4, 5 rows of the Bobby Moore lower. So there's my wife, who was heavily pregnant with twins, standing there in the middle of all this carnage. And we had a steward that sat in front of us, a guy called Ron. And he turned around to me as it was getting closer to the final whistle, and he said, "You do realise this is going to go absolutely mental if this is how it finishes 1-0. Yes, you're right. 2003, James. Yes, it was. That's my train of thought. So yeah, so he turns around to me. He says, "Right, so he took her the other side of the barrier. He took her sort of like where the advertising hoardings were, sort of like, and it did. The final whistle went absolutely batshit thing, and and there was my missus, like a little hippo, watching, and she's got my 2 sons. It's all right. I've said this to her face, so I'm not saying anything I shouldn't. So, like a little hippo. But yeah, I mean, sort of like, so I've got a lot of memories, as has everyone, but that's one of them. That my 2 sons, who are now 17, went to their first West Ham match before they were even born, and it was quite a big one. Unfortunately, we obviously got relegated. What was it? 8 days later, because I think that was on the Saturday, and we played the game at Birmingham on the Sunday. So 8 days later, we were relegated. I was gutted. But again, so I've been there, and it looks, like I say, it looks like a nice bunch of flats and this, that, and the other. And if you'd put this thing anywhere else, I'd be absolutely cool with it. But because they put it where it was, I'm looking at it when I went to this job that I did last year, and I just looked and I was like,
sorry, Casey, I haven't heard anything you've said for the last 3 or 4 minutes.
You've been too busy laughing about my hippo comment.
Tried to put the boys in the chat are having an absolute mad one. Oh God. It's a baby hippo with the Spurs badge on its arse. Listen, I feel sorry for West Ham online. The poor sod sat there going, "What is going on?" Like seriously, he's like, "What is happening?"
She's a Spurs fan. There's nothing poor about her.
Oh,
I
yeah,
know
right.
her really well.
Oh, God, what a disgrace. I didn't realise
Well,
that part of the story.
Yeah, but
listen, West Ham, he knew this. He knew this when he married her.
I can't cook. I can't cook. She's a chef. What can I do? What can I do? I'm just Hippo. Oh my God! Hope she slaps you up. Oh, thanks for your support, Mr. Beaver.
Look at the ones he's put in last. Look at the one that James has put in.
I'm just going through them all.
Baby Hippo gate.
Oh.
Oh, it's gone. Oh, it's over. Oh, West Ham Online, I'm sorry for this. You don't deserve this. You deserve so much of a better show. You really do.
It's fine. Hippo.
He deserves so much more of a better show. This kid's got 30,000 followers on Instagram, and we are talking about hippos. Like, seriously. What is going on?
At least I now know why Gatesy watched Madagascar. So Gatesy, how was
brought back all sorts of memories, mate. All sorts of. I'd be seriously worried about my health and safety if I was Kate's father. I'll tell you what, she's out at the minute, but I think the kids will probably tell her what I've said. And to be fair, I've said it to her before because I'm a lot quicker than she is. Her being a hippo and all that.
I don't know. I think they're the fastest. I think they're one of the fastest land animals, and I think they can get up to some speed, mate. So be careful.
Yeah. I was once told that they are pretty rapid, both on foot and actually through water. And I've worked it out. If you took on a hippo in a triathlon, your only chance is on a bicycle.
No, you're all right, mate. Listen,
the other two legs, you're screwed.
When she walks in, I'm just going to say hello. That's all I'm doing. There's nothing else. I'll tell you what I might do. I'm going to walk up to her and ask her to sign a picture of Gloria from Madagascar. That's what I'm going to ask her to. Ask her all.
If so, she brought new hammers into the world. Even if she's a Spurs fan, no one's. They are. Now here's the story for anyone that hasn't heard this. Right, when me and my wife first got together. Now, my wife's Catholic. I don't have a religion. You know, if you want to follow a religion, that's fine. You know, but it's not my cup of tea. So when we realised it was getting serious, she turned around to me and she said, "Would you mind if I bring the kids up as Catholics?" And I turned around and said, "Yeah, but if you do that, I'm bringing them up as West Ham fans." And that was it.
Listen, West Ham religion's better. That's all I'm saying. I'm certainly not.
Listen, we're going to wrap up. We're going to wrap it up.
I think we need to. We need to.
Comments. It's getting a bit on a tangent, but we're going to go. We'll give the final word to West Ham Online, our guest. So we'll go to you first, Duke, and then we'll come to West Ham Online to give his closing statement. So, Duke, not hippos. Football. Let's get back on the page.
Oh, Steve. Oh, listen, hippos kill more humans each year than any other animal in the wild. Gatesy, you're in trouble, mate. But this one's in captivity. Do we know what the fatalities are for any humans that keep hippos in captivity? If anyone wants to cover that for me, we'll come back to that on another video. We'll do a nature video. I'll tell you what, Gatesy, we'll do a nature video during the international break. We're going to have bugger all else to do.
We're going to go a little bit sort of David Attenborough. In its natural habitat,
the kitchen. Right, anyway,
get on with it.
2-1 West Ham win. 2-1, 3-1. 2-1 West Ham win. 2-1 West Ham win. Ben Rama and Lingard. The first one will be a cross that's takes a deflection off a hippo's ass and ends up in the top bins. That's all I've got. That's my closing statement.
What you got?
Firstly, I'd like to say to everyone watching, please join me, Gatesy and Duke tomorrow for Monday Night Madagascar. We're going to be doing a tactical analysis of how Gloria got Scott Marty. We're going to be analysing the movement, the technique shoes, and the composure under pressure, which I thought was just fantastic.
Which we're not. We've got no composure right now. It's all out the window. Oh.
So yeah, join us for Monday Night Madagascar tomorrow. We're going to be covering the development of that relationship and how that went down. And then as for my West Ham prediction, I'm going to go 2-1 with Lingard and Fornals. No, not Fornals. Lingard and Antonio to score. It'll be their goal coming from Aubameyang. But yeah, as I say, the most important thing at the moment is tomorrow night's Monday Night Madagascar. But then after we do that special, we'll be coming back to the game.
Thank you very much indeed for joining us on Hippo Watch. I mean...
Oh, this has just gone out the window, isn't it? The whole show. It's now it ain't an Arsenal. It's not an Arsenal West Ham review. It's now Hippo Watch. I'm waiting for Bilotti to turn up in a duck shed when he does Spring Watch. Hippo Watch. That's all I'm waiting for. This is it. I'm done.
At London Stadium, it's the hippo in its natural habitat.
And also to everyone, next Wednesday we're going to be doing so when the zoos actually open up, so it won't be next Wednesday, it will be in September when the zoos are back open. We're going to be going and then we're going to be doing a vlog about it, analysing the movement, the composure, and everything that comes with it as well.
Oh, I'm going to get one of them, them signs that they stick on the enclosures at the zoo that give you all the information about it. I'm going to go find myself one of them to put up as that's going to be the thumbnail for this. That's what I'm going to do. Hippo Watch.
Okay. Right, I'm going to wrap it up there, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks to West Ham Online for joining us, mate. It's been an absolute pleasure on our part.
No problem. I'm excited for tomorrow's special.
No, we're going to do it. We're doing it, mate. I'm telling you. Even if you're not, we're going to do it. We're going to do it for you, Gatesy. Live from the mortuary. We'll put a headset on you while you're laying on the slab.
What I'll do is I'll cut out all the clips of Gloria from Madagascar and we'll analyse all of them in slow-mo.
I don't know if I'm going to have to straighten up now because I've got some serious business to attend.
Yeah, do that.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, Isla's Army, okay? Getting back serious for a minute. This is a young girl, 6 years of age, Isla Kate, and she has neuroblastoma. This is a really rare and aggressive form of cancer that tends to afflict children in the main. There is no treatment of this on the NHS, so it's not like she can just disappear to her local hospital, get the treatment she needs, come back, job done. No. She's got to go to wherever it is across the world. Barcelona's one place that she's been, the United States, just wherever she can go to get the treatment she needs to save her life. It's as simple as that. Her parents have got to put their entire life on hold, cart her all over the world, and they've still got the bills to pay in the United Kingdom for their rent, mortgage, whatever, as well as where they're going for the treatment, their accommodation, living costs, and all the rest of it. I mean, guys, this is absolutely just ridiculous, in terms of the stress it's causing, the amount of money that they need to get what they need, and let alone you're doing it in the middle of a pandemic, so all the issues that causes. So if you've got a family and you can empathize with this, guys, and even if all you've got to spare is £1 or more, fine, great, but even if it's just £1, if everyone can put in £1, we could make such a difference here. You've got a PayPal page. You've got a Just Giving page. I'd ask to give as generously as you possibly can. And if you can't, because obviously things are a little bit tough, I get that. But just please, could you just share this message far and wide? We need to try and keep the momentum going. And as I keep saying now, guys, every day is critical. Every day that goes past where this young girl doesn't get the treatment she needs, it's just putting the odds more and more against her favour. So, whatever you can do, I'd appreciate it. The family would appreciate it, and let's get this girl back fit and firing, and she can carry on with her life, and her family can get back to theirs. So thanks very much for listening, guys. And that's the end of the stream. I'm going to hit end broadcast shortly. If you want to make any comments on anything we've discussed, from football to hippos, you've got the comment section below. Please help yourself. I shouldn't have said that. Comments in the section below. Like the video, please. If you've had a good laugh, give us a thumbs up. Come on, it makes sense. You can also subscribe to the channel. Click subscribe, hit the bell icon, click all, and as and when Duke can upload any new features and content, you will be the first to know. And you can also follow us at Twitter at Forge Talk and at Facebook Forge Mind. And there's also an Instagram, isn't there, Duke?
Oh, yeah, we got an Instagram somewhere. What are you doing there?
Hang on.
Get that one out, just in case we don't want to. Is that a hippo?
Yep.
I don't know.
Don't think so.
No, we've got an Instagram, Forge from Iron. We're trying to get it working. Certainly not going to compete with others that are about. I have just put in the chat. I have to say that we are a mockery of a channel. We are an embarrassment to other West Ham channels that are out there. I can only apologise that we managed to undo.
Get wildlife meshed with football anywhere else.
I can also confirm
this is the home of football and wildlife.
Yeah, we are an embarrassment to other West Ham channels. There they are working hard, and then we rock up and we listen. My God, what? Honestly, I love it. I wouldn't change this for the world. Honestly, I love it. We have honestly, guys, those of you that are still watching, I'm going to sign us off here. We have no idea what's going to happen. See, West Ham Online turned up. He had all these stats written out for Saka and everything else. He was all good to go. He'd nailed it. He had his entire presentation. You look at Anton at Irons United, they do all this hard work. They do everything that they do. And then a pair of absolute numpties like me and Gatesy rock up out of nowhere and go, oh, we can do YouTube. And look what happens. Honest to God, look what happens. It's amazing. Honestly, it's possibly the greatest thing ever that I've ever. Honestly, I've got 2 kids in the other rooms. This is probably the greatest thing I've ever produced. I love it. It's just great.
Thanks for joining us, everyone. And we'll see you after the match, I'm sure. Hoping for 3 points at London Stadium and onwards, hopefully, European qualification. Only one thing left to say. That is, come on, you Irons.
I can't get it in the camera.
Watch tomorrow.
Take it easy, guys.
Thanks for watching.